are these people?
Let's start over again, everyone. Hi, everyone. Fuck the Intercept. But they're not taking money from USAID. Unfortunately. Not here. Not directly. And a lot of fucking people got fooled the other day. Including me, by the way. I got fooled on this shit. All right? Because someone who put this up knew. They knew that we wanted this to be true and would have probably fallen for it. And a lot of us did. What am I talking about? God damn it. The whole thing got interrupted. I'm so pissed. Where is everyone? Come back, everyone. All right, we got 15 people coming back already.
Well, while you're interrupting yourself, you could share your screen.
Now I'm just not going to share it all night.
So I'm not 7 seconds. Okay.
Okay. Ken Klippenstein. Yay, we now know that Ken Klippenstein in 2023 made $208,000. Cool, but the one problem is he's not paid by corporate media. He's paid by First Look. And if somebody backed out and they looked at this thing, oh, they did. Very interesting. Here are the officers for Intercept Media, Inc. So what? But then there's a little link here. It says, see USAID grant flow. And whoever it is didn't look at all. Obviously, either that or they did and they didn't know what the hell they're doing or how to read these things, because what we learned is that this is a tangled web that ends up with the money being at the First Look Foundation, First Look Institute, all right, and Intercept Media gets 14 million of the 16 million of the grants that they were given. And oh yeah, by the way, none of that is considered a grant given. That's all considered a contribution from the First Look Institute to the Intercept Media. This is called money laundering, kids. All right. But what's happening here is that it is not a direct link from USAID or any of these organizations to into the Intercept or to the First Look Institute. What it showed was that there was about $1 million from about 9 different organizations that made it into 6 different layers above that all then pumped money in. But all of those had washed it through to the point where they could show that zero in taxpayer funds went through, meaning that there is no USAID money directly linked here. They washed it.
Yeah.
All right.
Just extremely indirectly, if at all.
Even, our brother Hembo, we all wanted this to be true. We saw this, we're like, oh, look at this. But no, this just means that they were paid well, and not even really well, but well for DC area. It costs a lot of money to live in a nice apartment in the DC area. They are PMC. All right. And I said, I think that was just their salaries.
But with most of us, it's a good chunk of change.
It is. But when you're a prominent journalist working for one of the larger foundational, that's funded, a well-funded organization, you're going to do pretty well. Look, we know they were paying Glenn Greenwald $500,000 plus a year.
People can't see this, but because you're sharing your screen with me in your Opera GX corner over there, one of the games it's saying is the Griftlands, which is just hilarious.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Griftlands right underneath that thing.
Oh, it's 93% off too. Look at that.
Continue.
All right.
Yeah, 93% off Griftlands.
James Risen, also national security correspondent. He's also making $193,000. David Braylow, I believe he's their general counsel. He's the lawyer. He gets $322,000. Ryan Grimm, $379,000. He's one of the bosses. And Jeremy Scahill, and he barely works. Yep. He got $279,000. Unbelievable. So again, this is just
Applejack in the chat says so they did pay, but it was indirect. I'm not even sure they did that. Like if you count USAID giving money to what was the parent? The parent thing.
First Look Media
that even got
First Look
USAID
Institute?
money.
They didn't get it. No, it was like the Fidelity Charitable Giving Fund, all right, which is an anonymous donor fund that funnels out all kinds of money all over the place. So we are not really sure if it's directly that or not, and they figured out a way to basically wash it out so that you can't tell. All right?
Yeah.
And they can claim plausible deniability. But you have to go pretty damn far back in order to find something that has a red number. And anything that has a red number actually had taxpayer money in it. All right. Now, also keep in mind that all of this is coming from an organization called Data Republican.
Data Republican. Yeah.
Because Elon took over the entire, so this is all what was already on the public record and already downloaded and already for tax year 2023 and prior. This is nothing new. What we are doing is a forensic analysis here, which is a distraction. Look over here while we're doing shit over there. All right. Well, what shit are we doing over there? Here's another person saying USAID money went into a bunch of charitable funds and foundations that gave to other funds, and eventually some of it went to the Intercept. Everyone makes it seem like USAID was writing a check to them, but they weren't. So here, the Aspen Institute, we are very familiar with the Aspen Institute. They've gotten a total of $9 million in taxpayer money, of which $25,000 total of all of their money went to the Miami Foundation, of which $23,700 of all of this $46 million or $370 million went into $23,000 into First Look. It's like drop in the bucket to drop in the bucket to drop in the bucket, and it disappears in the bucket somewhere. It's the best way I could describe this. All right. The New York Community Trust, again, getting money from the Bessemer Giving Fund, but that was passed through somewhere else. And then they also got $40,000, $48,000 of taxpayer funds. None of this is enough to fund the Intercept for a year, by the way. None of it.
Yeah.
$18 million is. That's what about their budget was. 20 million plus whatever Omidyar decided to give. And he cut, starting in 2023, or maybe even in 24, they reorganized and he reduced the amount he was directly giving because they were going to be funneling more through these charitable foundations. I remember reading about that then. All right, so you've got, here, he got busted. Here's Kenny. He's incredibly mad about it. No, what they did was they set the left up because the left doesn't know how to read financial stuff. And the left is kind of gullible. And the left had a bunch of people tell them, this is what this is. And they ran with it and went, yeah, because we wanted it to be true. And it's not really true. All right. It's called money laundering, like I said, so that the money that trickles down can't be linked directly to the original sources, but can be explained away through an intentional web of confused mess. That's how it shows zero in taxpayer funds, but the orgs above it in the pyramid certainly did get some. All right. And again, you back this up in the chain and you start to see some of these institutions getting that money. But was it that money that funneled its way down? No. And that's where they start to confuse you and make your eyes glaze over, as Angel is saying now, who's already getting a headache about this. He's like, dude, people are like, I don't know what to do here. Now, I said everyone was running around laughing about the Intercept getting USAID money, but that wasn't the real thing. And they didn't, because at least none of that wasn't laundered clean first. They got fooled by the smokescreen. But here's the real propaganda influence media operation stripped bare for all to see. Internews Network. All right. And WikiLeaks, we know them, all right, published yesterday. USAID has pushed nearly $500 million through a secretive, and it's not really secretive, U.S. government-financed NGO Internews Network, which has worked with almost 4,300 media outlets, producing in 1 year almost 4,800 hours of broadcasts, reaching up to 778 million people, and training over 9,000 journalists, according to them. They've also supported social media censorship initiatives. Go figure. Right? The operation claims offices in over 30 countries, including main offices in U.S., London, Paris, regional offices in Kyiv, Bangkok, and Nairobi. Interesting that they have an office in Africa. It's headed by Jean Bourgeot, who pays herself almost $500,000 a year. She worked out of the U.S. Embassy in Moscow, go figure, during the early 90s when she was in charge of a $250 million budget and in other revolts or conflicts at critical times before formally rotating out 6 years later at USAID to this Internews, right? So her bio and those of its key other people have been recently scrubbed, but of course remain accessible at archive.org. You can thank the incident in December for executives scrubbing their bios off their websites. Now, records show that the board is chaired by Democrat Securocrat Richard Kessler and Simone Otis Cox, who is the wife of NVIDIA billionaire Trench Cox. Excuse me. Both major Democratic
Trench
donors.
Cox.
Yeah, that's a name. In 2023, supported by Hillary Clinton, Bourgeot launched a $10 million IN fund at the Clinton Global Initiative. The IN page showing a picture of Bourgeot with the CGI has also been deleted. I wonder if they're embarrassed about that picture. They have
Most
at least,
likely.
according again to WikiLeaks, IN has at least 6 captive subsidiaries under unrelated names, including one based out of the Cayman Islands, who apparently suffered an earthquake yesterday. Since 2008, when electronic records began, more than 95% of their budget has been supplied by the U.S. government. Now, I also don't know that that's actually factually correct, because their entire website even said who else they were getting funding from. And there is a large list of big money foundations and donors. All right. But this comes from their own website. All right. But I don't really like that there are no links. Now, this is what's funny enough, is somehow the address for the Internews network in California, funneling nearly $500 million through this building. Amazing. Right? It was clearly abandoned by December 2024, shot 4 months ago. All right. IN's funding has doubled since 2016, and that number of 472 million is since 2008. That is not in 1 year.
Okay.
That is in 17 years that we have been funding this flim-flam sham of a media propaganda outlet organization, and we have increased its funding.
Never heard of.
Correct.
I doubt anyone else has.
2016. Who was in office in 2017, 2018, 2019? I don't remember. Yeah, that was Trump.
Oh, was it? I was going to say. No.
All right. These are their officers and how much they compensate them. Here is the bio from the Wayback Machine. Again, where does Internews fit into the funding? Internews there, according to this, $93 million in the red of taxpayer funding of the $123 million that they total receive. They get another $30 million from other donors and another almost $5.5 million, $6 million from grants that are visible, right? To make a total of $123, almost $124 million in gross receipts. And you can see that
I was tired of paying for weed.
That's a lot of weed, man. That's an awful lot of weed. And they're paying, and it doesn't show what's paying into it here, but they show that on their website. They also file disclosures, all right, ties to 7th Street Arcata address. All right, so that's in California. So that's showing the CEO. Oh, look where that is. The World Economic Forum.
WEF.
Ah.
Yay.
Now,
Crazy Dutch bastard.
That 7th Street address, Arcata, California, that's this building right here. All right. She's linked directly to that building right here. Where was it? Right here. There's a tax filing, State of California, statement of nonprofit corporation. CEO. That is their headquarters. Way, Sydney? No, that's where Wally's dentist lives.
Wally?
Not Wally.
What?
Nemo. That's right. I mixed my Pixar character.
Nemo's dentist lived there. Got it.
42 Wallaby
His
Way.
dentist. Nemo's dentist.
That's right. Nemo's dentist. Great. Well, the dentist where Nemo got trapped.
Man, this is spelled just like escape.
Right?
Escape. Anyway.
Right? So this is a kind of a disgusting web. But wait, there's more. Now,
there's more.
I don't always consider this account to be the most reliable ever. And I will say that and preface that before I start this statement. However, it appears in this case, USAID-funded Internews went from funding media organizations with George Soros to overthrowing governments in Eastern Europe to calling for advertising boycotts to censor free speech online. This is a textbook example of U.S. regime change tactics being redirected against domestic populism and American citizens. In the 1990s, Internews partnered with the Soros Foundation to fund media organizations in post-Soviet nations playing a pivotal role in the color revolutions of the 2000s in Serbia, Georgia, and Ukraine. See Kit Clarenberg for more about that as well. During Georgia's Rose Revolution, Internews funded and trained journalists at Rustavi 2 TV, the leading channel driving the uprising. Quote, media was good at informing public about what was going on, and it had huge role in calling people onto the streets, said the former Internews director for Georgia, and not the state of Georgia, but the country. By 2003, thank you. By 2003 in Ukraine, Internews had conducted 220 media training programs, trained over 2,800 journalists in propaganda, and produced more than 220 television and 1,000 radio programs. Propaganda.
Because Putin's a madman.
It also funded Telekritika, an online outlet that played a central role in the 2004 Orange Revolution. And no, not the one about Donald Trump. After Brexit and Trump's election in 2016, Internews, now working with USAID-funded World Economic Forum, because we've given the World Economic Forum hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 2 decades as well, shifted its focus to pushing advertising boycotts to suppress online dissent. Now, that was allegedly on the WEF stuff, and I got to find the receipts, but I'm pretty sure the USAID gave them money too. A lot of it. This person says, what was once a U.S.-funded operation to overthrow foreign regimes is now being used to silence American citizens and dismantle Trump's populist MAGA movement. The price tag?
Yeah, okay.
USAID has funneled over $470 million in taxpayer dollars into Internews. Again, not really clear on the timeline, although this is clear on the timeline, and I can't really blow this up, unfortunately. These are like kind of magazines that show the timeline of Internews from their own website. Here is from an old website. Internews Network has been working in Ukraine since '93 to promote democracy by supporting the development of free, empowered, pluralistic mass media. Again, CIA infiltrated media, and this is back in the 90s. What?
Sure.
Back in the 90s.
Back in the 90s.
All right. Then
was on a famous TV show.
You've got, okay, so this is from their newsletter, their own timeline on their website. Then finally, you've got the thing about the 90s and how much they were awarded. And they also have 4 other names that they go by. All right. Then here she is pushing for the global advertising exclusion list. This is like what they tried to do to Rumble, so that they tried to go after all the advertisers that tried to advertise on Rumble.
Yes, this is the pause, because that's a exclusion list of advertise. They're fucking with your money. That's equivalent to all those problems with CBDCs and all that stuff, where we could just go, oh, you can't make money. No. You know? So you'll lose access to your bank accounts, all that stuff.
Yep.
So,
here, that's 28 seconds. Let's listen to this crazy person who's just somehow been given hundreds of millions of dollars by the federal government.
Disinformation makes money, and that's one of the, we need to follow that money, and we need to work with in particularly the global advertising industry, that a lot of those dollars go to pretty bad content. And so you can work really hard on exclusion lists or inclusion lists to sort of really try to focus ad dollars and challenge the global advertising industry all around the world to focus their ad dollars towards the good news and information, the accurate and relevant news and information.
Our news.
Disinformation.
The ones that we control.
Yes.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
I need a Jimmy Dore fuck you, please. Yes. That seems to be appropriate here for that. Don't forget, as Marissa Hassan then jumps in, and she's got...
You go fuck yourself?
Marissa Hanson jumps in with a thread that, holy shit, don't forget that also they were involved in Haiti in 2010 after the earthquake, and there was a ton of bullshit going on there, CIA and theft, all right? The Arab Spring, all right? So now we know that, again, that was a CIA infiltration, all right? And then also the Rose Revolution, which was mentioned. All right. Yeah, government corruption we've seen, and the corruption we haven't seen yet. For sure. Okay, here is, by the way, Data Republican. You saw that they're the ones that put out that chart. Crazy how fast citizen journalism comes together. So this, again, they're just... I got questions. It's all part of... Now, remember...
Me too.
That this is an account that's part of a network also of... Amazing
how fast some journalists could all get their story straight on the same issue. Amazing how that would work.
Amazing.
What? Sorry?
But like I said, it doesn't stop there. All right? This is... it gets worse, as Mike Benz... Yeah, not the biggest fan, but look, this is how this thing is breaking. And this is one of the things that I wanted to point out is this all feels like a very limited hangout. This all feels like Twitter Files 2.0.
Yes.
All right? That this is coming out.
It don't make no motherfucking sense.
That this is all coming out very partisan. It's all about what the Democrats are pushing and funding. Guess what? Republicans, number one, stood by and watched all this happen silently. There's no way they didn't know all the shit was going on because they were being bought off too. Number one. All right. Number two, where's all the shit that the Republicans were doing? Because you know that they were doing shit too. Of course they were. This wasn't just a Democratic funded operation for decades. Correct. That's not how this works, pal.
Correct.
So we are basically leaking the side that is convenient to us and going to bury the side that's inconvenient, while we're also going to delete your access to all the federal records that you ever had access to. And we're going to get to that part later. Holy shit. All right. Now, what this says is that I also said, Earthgiver, all right, not much visibility, but Internews is almost always tied to Catholic charities, which is also almost always tied to Save Our Children and the Kind Fund, which is also weird. All right. Then Catholic Charities of Fort Worth, which has over 200 million in tax dollars being funneled to it. All right.
Jesus is the bread.
Right. And that actually does make it from Internews funneled through these organizations And again, Catholic Charities of Fort Worth takes in a ton of taxpayer money. Look at all that red back here. And this is how they funnel it, and they wash it, and they cleanse it so that most of this money does not show as government money ending up in
not
the
just with
hands,
holy water.
right? How could it be that this organization here, and I can't, something, Foundation of Texas Inc., all right? I can't see what it says. It's a little too small. The company's Foundation of Texas Inc. Right. They get a grant. They get something from an organization that's funded by millions of dollars. It's not much, but that's somehow washed through, and now they're giving it as, again, cleansed money here. This is called money laundering.
Yeah.
And it's being done through Catholic Charities, Save Our Children, all right? Benevolent sounding organizations that are anything but. Again, Internews
Save
Network,
Our Children.
$472 million.
Oh.
This is Marissa's original thread. $95 million to Internews? What do you mean? Okay.
Nothing to see here.
Worth noting that Bill and Melinda Gates also heavily fund Internews, and Susan Rice, former national security advisor to George W. Bush, sat on the board of directors. She says, I know what goes on in these
Susan
places.
Rice, right?
Right? Here is
Any relation to Condi?
No. Oh, no, right. She worked for Condi worked for the Bushes. Susan Rice worked for Obama. She was UN, I think, ambassador, or she might have been national security also. Interesting that Internews, how much they're listing and how much they're spending in each continent, lists out under media development here in East Asia and the Pacific, 6.5 million. In Europe, 2.5 million. Middle East, North Africa, 3.7 million. You can see all of that in their 2021 Schedule F Form 990 filing with the IRS. Public record. Right?
As it's been for a while.
President of Internews serves on the steering committee for WEF, which is also funded with USAID partially, but also with all the money from all the big corporations that are members of the WEF. All right. BLM protests, Me Too movement have shed light. Yeah, she is, using all the woke speak and the corpo speak.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations
a new world order. Yeah. All right. Internews receives significant funding from government entities such as the State Department, USAID, NED. All right. All of them. These orgs are known to support initiatives that align with U.S. foreign policy objectives. All right. Which has led to speculation and criticism regarding their role in media or influence. Yeah. They're certainly manipulating.
Yeah.
Can you read, my son?
Here is Atlantic's City Lab general manager, who's now the managing director of Digital Signal Group, board member. That's problematic. Here's a head of audience opinion and sub-brands at the New York Times.
About five heads of audience.
He is the head of audience.
The big old 5 head of audience.
Here she is at the CGI.
Not sorry.
All right, journalists in Ukraine, very excited about funding journalists in Ukraine. We all know about them.
Turn the mic around.
And then it turns out that the building that they claim is their head office for this organization that's gotten hundreds of millions of dollars is this abandoned building. Yes. You can literally see the ladder inside, like it's under renovation.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that's what it looks
it's
like
not
today.
not even. Yeah, but like it would. How often is California Google Street View updated?
December 2024.
December. Right.
Shot taken 4 months ago.
So.
According to WikiLeaks. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And what is this? Why the why the U.S. paid Karzai's top man. This was 2013. Josh Rogan. Again, I believe that he's got some intel connections, likely.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe.
Yes.
So if you are able to, in any way, please share the stream. First of all, take care of your friends, take care of your family, as Care Bear likes to say. But if you're able to, and you've got a few bucks, Cash App, $ Indie News Network is the easiest, best way to do that without fees. ko-fi.com/Indie News Network or paypal.me/Indie News Network eliminates the Ko-fi fee. And then Substack, that's our
shout
newsletter.
out Care Bear, who gave us $5 earlier.
Hey, yeah, no, thank you, Care Bear.
Appreciate you, fam.
Hell yeah, brother. That's our wall of fame. Those are the best people in the world. Those are the people we live. Because guess what? They support our network. Who are these people? Well, there's their names right there. Those are the ones that have actually contributed and tipped our channel and tipped our live streams and are trying to contribute to the media they want to see and funding the media they want to see. Because corporate media ain't telling you stuff like that. These are the people that would help us get our reporting back if we ever got shut down. These are the amazing people that are on our wall of fame that support our channel, our network, and what we do here. They fund the media they want to see. Show me the money! We've got Cash App is $ Indie News Network. They'll be down in the ticker scrolling there. You've got ko-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network, and you can also subscribe monthly.
Please.
Yes, that you can subscribe at innnewsletter.com on a monthly or an annual basis. Certainly, we are demonetized, and YouTube doesn't like stories like that. So please, if you can,
will not be televised.
it certainly will not. But I don't also think that it will end up allowed on YouTube in the end, which is why we're working toward a self-hosting solution at some point that we're going to be able to direct everyone to a website, and then we'll be able to chat via a Discord server, and
modern problems require modern solutions.
All will hopefully be avoidable of the major censors, so we can keep saying what we want to say, and nobody's going to try to stop us. Support independent media because we need it more than ever.
Yep. Keep listening to what Boats had to tell you, fam. Good night.
Mwah. Ciao, baby.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
Can't keep giving us nothing and think we're bluffing about coming for your heads. Why play civil if you won't listen to 50,000 dead? And now we know our mission, we form a militia, make Congress a prison. No, I play civil when all these dead won't make you listen. What's more American than slaying your oppressors? What's more American than liberty or death first? God, I thought we were founded on abolishing the tyranny of those who would starve a village all to live empirically. And I regret that I have only one life to give for my cause now that I can see the cause so clearly. See, I want our leaders, regardless of party, to fear me.